Sorry, I can't see the live chat, so I've got no idea what any of you are saying if anyone is here. I'm sure there are people here. Hello everyone, sorry I'm late. I went to see the Phoenician Scheme. Hello everyone, hello Ali, hello McGee, hello Casual Sheep Gardener, hello everyone, this is for USMR. Hello. Hi Crisp. Hello, I am not creative, so I don't have a funny name. I'm live, so yes. Hi, hello. Hello. So we can say whatever we want. I can see you all now, so don't say whatever you want. You're not just able to say everything. Hell yeah, from Switzerland. Hello, wie geht's? Cunts. One of the best parts of the movie is that Israel doesn't exist. What, in the movie The Phoenician Scheme? I didn't even see that. Throw $5 at the screen, fades away from existence. Thank you, Coffee Lover. It will be spent on my, as I said yesterday, my supercomputers to send hate to the Israeli government to set up a bot farm. Thanks for being here for even a short period, and thank you so much for your support. The Phoenician Scheme. Hello, I am Egyptian. I despise my own country. Welcome to the club. I don't despise Egypt necessarily. I despise your government, but yeah, I think it's funny as well because you're seeing all these reactions today where people like are almost gawping and going, "Oh my God, Egypt is collaborating with Israel." It's like, yeah, what do you think is happening? Oh yeah, awesome, Riverwand. I was actually thinking of you today. I've worked out how to do it, but typically I'm now going away. But I'm away for a week, but we'll get something going once I'm back to regular streaming. It sounds great. But yeah, loads of people are like today. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Who knew that Egypt was going to collaborate with the state of Israel? It's like, yeah, how do you think that Israel has a blockade on Gaza? Like, how do you think? I mean, I didn't really think about it because it just wasn't something that was plausible for me to do with things going on in my life currently. Like this whole joining a march. But at the same time, it's just like, I understand, but like, you know, you got to get through Egypt first. Like, I'm not diminishing the march. I think that all of this stuff, like the big convoy, makes sense. But just trying to go through this, it's difficult. But yeah, like, yeah, exactly, Nixon. Like, so many people just sit here. And yeah. Good luck with the editing, and everyone should go and support Riverwand if you're here. Riverwand's a great creator. But yeah, like, it's just, yeah, Sadat, I don't know if Sadat switched the mentality, because one of the funny things about Egypt and Israel's peace is that Israel made peace with Egypt under the expectation, and like, at first there were loads of Israelis who were like, God, yeah, we're going to be able to go and do tourism in Egypt. And there are some Israelis who go and do tourism. But the truth is when Egyptians find out they're Israeli, I'm sure there are some people, someone who is Egyptian told me of some places that are like in the northern Sinai, where there's like some kind of hippie-ish areas where there are like Israelis and Egyptians, but most Egyptians just fucking hate Israelis, so because of what they do to Palestinians, and so it's kind of like, yeah, long live Algeria, yeah, at least long live Algeria indeed. Do you think anyone will make it to the border? I don't know, but like also, like the any country that's backed by the UAE is a despicable authoritarian regime who collaborates with Israel. And free all these countries. I hope all these countries are one day able to better understand the topics Chris covers. I always enjoy listening, but I'd love to have more background and statistics better for me. It depends what you want to read about, Cosmo. Like, the problem is I can recommend like things that might like be good, but I need to know what you want. I can't just give you like a broad book. I mean, I'm sure there are broad books, but they're not the kind of things that I've read in recent years. I tend to read very specific things. Yeah, I'll talk about the deporting and stuff. I want to wait for a few more people to get in here, but I want to talk about, obviously, this Israel-Iran stuff. Seems like it's gonna happen. I like him. Who knows? You mean like the RSF? Yeah, indeed. Because of Israel. I'm sure that, so free Palestine, I think that the what people would see, I guess when people lack like a proper education, but you know about like the state of Israel, there are some people who end up being, you know, like genuinely anti-Semitic. But I think the vast majority of Egyptian disdain towards the state of Israel is because of Israel's behaviour towards it. It's typical. Yeah, I haven't done my daily condemnation of October the 7th. Sorry to all of my fellow content creators who'll be upset about that. When you don't do your daily affirmations, you're in trouble. Give us a moustache tour whilst we wait. Well, here's my moustache and here's the rest of my face that I've forgotten to shave or have been too lazy to shave because I dropped the head of my razor. Like I dropped my razor and the head of the razor went like down the toilet, so I was like, oh well, I'm not using that anymore. Even though it was clean, I don't want to use it anymore. It's gross. And I don't have a new head, so I guess I'm just gonna have a big moustache. But it was only the head of the razor, so that's good at least. So the rest isn't broken. Hello from Iran. Salam az Ingilistan. Khol shoma khube. Is the moustache real? No, it's fake. It's a fake moustache. Everything here is fake. Every single thing in this room is fake. My camera's fake. The microphone's fake. I'm fake. The wall is fake. My phone is fake. My political takes are fake. Everything is fake here. Don't you realise? Have you been to the crossings? Sadly, I've never been to the crossings. I've never been to the crossings, unfortunately. It's just not somewhere I've been. I condemn Sabra hummus. I feel very strongly about Sabra hummus too. It's very shit. But yeah, everything in my house is fake. You don't understand. I draw it on, yeah, before... Well, no, it's an AI mustache because I'm AI. That's what you don't realise. The problem is whenever... Saeed, if you send me something like that, I can't read Arabic when it's that small. So what does that say? Marak bik America... Oh, I don't know why it's sent like that, but I feel like I know what you said. Yeah, but I'm one of Bad Empanada's AI creations to harass Ethan Klein. That's what you don't understand about me. So... get some fake coffee on me. Coffee lover, I thought you had to go. I mean, thank you very much again. Thank you so much for your support. Hello, LXL. But yeah, I'll get Bad Empanada to make me some AI coffee. Yeah, I'm Grok. I'm in 18 plus NSFW mode. Yeah, I know what it means, Saeed. I think I understood it. Chris' stream timing is always perfect. Indeed, Noor. I hope you're well. I haven't had a chance to watch Do Not Worry. I've been so busy the last few days. But shout out Do Not Worry. Banger. When your computer struggles, is that fake? No, that's the only real thing. The reason my computer is struggling and the reason I never listen to any of your advice of, hey, please do this basic thing to improve your computer is because it's not actually like I have the world's best computer. I'm just stealing your money to make it even better. But the problem is we're using the AI, and it's really intense on my computer. Have you seen the No Cap on Israel video yet? The guy went there to make a Borat style video. No Cap Israel. No, is it funny? Oh, I think I have seen this guy doing some stuff. I
want to be chosen. I want to be in the room where it happens.
Could this be the moment? Will I be chosen?
I could see greatness all over you.
I appreciate it, bro. So
I don't know if I want to watch this, but I mean, maybe it'll be interesting to see
really
what people are saying at the protest. Wait, what the fuck was this sign?
And
What is that sign? What is that sign? Who's this?
and all that. So we are here to fight that.
Is Tel Aviv really the best place to get good cock?
To get what?
That's outrageous.
Is Tel Aviv really the best place to get good cock?
To get a good cock?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. I don't know. You can find one.
Yeah.
This is what you're here from?
I have a son. He lives here. He was in the army here. He goes out. He sleeps with some of the most beautiful girls in the world.
Does.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Have you guys ever thought about doing like a
Oh, this is weird.
tower?
I don't know what that is.
Like the two of you tag team?
Yeah, I don't know what that. I kind of skipped through because I think I have seen parts of this where people are saying unhinged shit. But I'll watch this because I don't know. I don't know who this guy is, but I'll definitely watch this and see.
Someone, would you ever do that for the most beautiful girl in the world?
You want to
Would
get
you
down
tag
with this?
Yeah.
He would not. He's a lot more shy than I
So
am.
you might consider it. If it was
Not with him.
if it was the hottest girl in the world.
Not with him. Not with him.
I'm not so sure about this. I'm not sure I want to listen to this guy sort of talk about having sex with old people. So I think I'll turn that off. I'm sure that there's something at least interesting in that. I guess I'll kind of just get into it. Right. So pretty big news. This is what Trump was saying earlier.
President, how imminent is an Israeli strike on Iran?
So if you can't hear that, they just said, how imminent is the Israeli strike on Iran?
Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen. Look, it's very simple, not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be tremendous. We'll help them be successful.
I mean, so what's going to happen? What, they just leave? That's a pretty contradictory thing, because the reason that Iran is say, unsuccessful currently is not really to do with anything beyond a brutal sanctions regime. Like, that's it. Like, that's the only reason that Iran's I mean, there's also other problems in Iran. But who fucking knows? Who fucking knows, like, what's going to happen in the next few days? I mean, I'm just going to have a look through and see what people are posting. But I also want people to realise, like, who knows? It does look like this is plausibly going to happen. But don't believe me, or don't believe anyone telling you. Don't believe anyone telling you definite things. Like, who knows? Who knows, really? Who know? Because, like, apparently Israel is saying that they're going to do it. Or apparently the Israeli strike is imminent or something, or could happen. It's like...
Mr. President, how imminent is an Israeli strike on Iran?
So Trump said it could well happen. That's Trump's assessment. Druzilla, why can North Korea have it then? Well, they don't really want North Korea to have nuclear weapons. North Korea have just held on to nuclear weapons pretty well. I can't even remember how they got them. I think it's basically from Pakistan. So here's another one.
Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen.
I can make the audio louder, sorry.
Look, it's very simple, not complicated.
Hello, Eliza.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be tremendous. We'll help them be successful. We'll trade with them. We'll do whatever is necessary. You know, I stopped a war between India and Pakistan. And I stopped it with trade. I don't think I've ever seen a story written about it, but it was pretty cool. They were getting...
Do you think he actually stopped that? I'm not so sure he did.
ready. Pakistan was their turn to hit, and eventually they're going to go nuclear. And I stopped it. I called each. I respect each leader greatly. I know them. And I spoke to them, and I talked about trade. I said, but you're not trading with us if you're going to go to war, if you're going to start throwing nuclear weapons around. And I said it to both of them, and they were both unbelievable, actually. They understood it exactly. They stopped. I stopped that war.
So it's just him being senile, claiming he was the one responsible exclusively for stopping the war. I mean, you know what? I have no idea whether Israel will actually do it. Think about how many times we hear Iran's going to attack Israel. What's it called? A True Promise 3 is coming. All of these things. Who knows? Like, who knows? It is plausible. I don't think it's necessarily out of it. And yesterday there was I just want to see if there's anyone posting about anything yesterday. So this is the other thing that I've seen from US. This is from, I don't know how much to trust this guy. This is the guy who posts over and over again. Barack Ravid, he posts over and over again saying that, oh, Netanyahu and Trump are breaking relations. So who knows? And on the question of why Iran can't have nuclear weapons, I don't think anyone should have nuclear weapons. I'll be frank with you. But in the world in which we live, I think it's like the Western society cannot sit there allowing the most genocidal entity on earth currently, Israel, who has massacred, tens of thousands, potentially in excess of 100,000 people, to have nuclear weapons. Israel does have nuclear weapons. They regularly let it slip that they have nuclear weapons. And it's like, I don't think anyone should have them. Like, let's be frank. Like, who needs them? They're destructive and horrifying. They're horrifying things. But, yeah, I just think, like, in this world, it's like, it's not surprising. You need to take them from Israel. I like your message as well. This is for you. So yeah, apparently US fears Iran's response to Israel's strike would be a mass casualty event. White House envoy Steve Witkoff privately warned top Senate Republicans last week that Iran could unleash a mass casualty response if Israel bombs their nuclear facilities, according to a US official and source with direct knowledge. Yeah, exactly. I agree with what you're saying, Hyper J. I think that's 100%. I don't think any country needs them or should have them. It's very ridiculous, the world in which we live. I have seen those things what Iran posted. Have you read about Iran stealing documents? I have seen that, but I don't know enough about it. I'll go over the IEA thing. You know what? I don't think it's implausible that the IEA thing is real. That, like, Iran is doing these things. But I do think you're right. I think the timing is unusual, and I do think that, it's not like any of these people are above just fabricating stuff. They literally made up that there was... They literally made up that there were WMDs in Iraq and then invaded. These people are fucking liars. They're maniacal liars who'll kill hundreds of thousands of people. The discovery of nuclear weapons was a Pandora's box. I mean, in a sense, but... definitely, but perhaps it was just aerial warfare that was really Pandora's box of, like, the discovery of it was really good to just drop bombs out of planes. Oh, shit, sorry, that was really loud. I didn't mean to do that. But the discovery that you could just drop massive amounts of bombs from aeroplanes was probably, and someone would have always worked it out. That's always the main thing that would be the horrifying thing, really. Like, because you can kill... in my understanding, Hiroshima is terrible, and I don't mean to diminish the significance, but I think firebombings of cities like Tokyo had already killed similar numbers of people and inflicted really horrifying things. And the way that you die when there's like a firebombing is atrocious, because normally what will happen is it creates a firestorm which like cooks your insides, and they're like people's heads just like exploded basically from firestorms, I believe, in places like Dresden. And so I think I think that ultimately, like, all of these things are horrifying. Shout out to the FBI agents. Now, it'll be MI5 in the UK who are just waiting for me to accidentally show my, to accidentally show my ass on stream or something. My only disagreement is that nuclear weapons weren't discovered so much as they were created. They're not a naturally occurring phenomenon. I mean, true. Your molecules catch on fire from the inside out. Is that what happens? Is it? Air attacks that much different from siege equipment? Yeah, I mean, I guess in a sense, like, trebuchets were pretty horrifying. But trebuchets predominantly were for... I mean, I don't know enough, but weren't trebuchets, like, predominantly for breaking walls and stuff? Like, you used a trebuchet to launch, like, a big bit of stone at walls, and that would break it, rather than, like, aerial bombardment. Yeah, it works pretty well at destroying people's air defenses and entering areas and covering yourself on a battlefield. But also, aerial bombardment has just been used pretty much ever since carpet bombing was invented by Libya. I think it was actually the Italians in Libya who invented carpet bombing. Ever since that was invented, people have just come up with more and more horrifying ways to use it. A lot of new inventions for the good are sooner or later used as a weapon. I mean, yeah, think about... Israel has literally been weaponizing toxic gases from bombing, but yeah. Aerial bombing was a huge concern before it ever became viable, and nearly included in the Hague Convention in 1890s, before even being practiced against the English in World War I by Germany. I didn't know that was the first time it was practiced. But yeah, it's, yeah. What was that thing Nikola Tesla said about man-made horrors beyond our human comprehension? I think the thing is that you can imagine it. Show your Hezbollah files, Chris. Well, you want to see my Hezbollah files? What do you think of my Hezbollah files? Do you think I have a Hezbollah file? What, like as in I'm in Hezbollah? Is that what you're claiming? Because yeah, bro, I've taken up Shia. I don't even proclaim to be a Muslim, but in my spare time, I'm a practicing Shia Muslim and a member of Hezbollah. Usually, yeah, but fun. Kublai Khan basically invented chemical warfare using them, launching SARS-infected body soup over city walls. Oh, I guess, yeah. I guess that is a thing you could do. What does that even mean? I don't know what it means. Thank you, Treasure Trove, for all your support as well. Where's your ID card? I don't even know what these words you're saying is. I do have a phone ID. So, sheer Chris hype. Yes, indeed. They don't teach you how to read clocks at Exeter. They do. Alt mode sheer. Yeah. I'm a member of Hezbollah. I'm also part Muslim. Chris is a 12er. Hezbollahs. Right, I guess we were actually doing some reporting on the news. I guess we were at one point, but now it's just evolved into people asking me, are you in Hezbollah? Who do you think pays for my videos? I have some great aunties who were martyred in their villages by napalm in the Algerian war. I didn't even know the French used napalm. I've always wanted to learn more about Algeria, because Patrick Wolf wrote that Algeria wasn't a case of settler colonialism, but in terms of it, the French went over and thought that they'd kill all the Algerians and then replace them from slaves freed from the sub-Saharan slave trade. My mother's maiden name is what's like a classic Shia name from southern Lebanon? Nasrallah. My mother's maiden name is Nasrallah. I changed my name to Kunzler. I read a testimony by a Christian who wrote about his time in Khiam, torture center run by Israel, and its moment it was liberated. Yeah, I mean, the scenes of the liberation of Khiam are, like, unbelievable. I don't know if any of you have ever seen these. They're like, I think we can show them, because in the scenes where Khiam is liberated, the people in Khiam don't know who's liberating them at first. But it wasn't actually run by... The only thing is it wasn't... Yeah, you know what? It was run by Israel. It was staffed by the SLA, right? The Southern Lebanese Army. Yeah, Bad Empanada gets money from Qatar... No, Bad Empanada gets money from Iran that then he uses to make AI creations like me, which then attack Ethan Klein. I'm going to become a VTuber, don't you all know? Yeah. But these are the scenes of the liberation of Khiam. We can't listen to this, which is probably problematic because it kind of detracts from the video, because it's like, it's just like the scenes. I mean, people were tortured horrendously in Khiam. It's yet another example of, just atrocious crimes by Israel and its allies. We'll link a video in chat to check. What's the video? Is it another what's it called video? I told you, Bad Empanada. What do you mean? He didn't just make AI videos of Hassan today. He's been making AI videos of Hassan for generations. And yeah, everyone in this chat is an AI chatbot that I've been talking to for months, if not years. I've cultivated friendships with every single AI. I love Grok 18 plus NSFW mode. Grok 18 plus NSFW mode. I've been talking to it every single day. Sorry, I've kind of been detracting, but these scenes of liberation are just unbelievable. You can send them to HyperJ. HyperJ will check links for me, because obviously I don't just want to open everything that fucking people send to me in the chat. But yeah, that's like I can't remember who wrote about this. There's a really good article in Parapraxis about this. I haven't read Parapraxis in ages. The most recent article in Parapraxis is a photo of Gary's mod. Let me see if I can find it. I will be able to find it, don't worry. Here you go. Israel's reality principle. I'll link it. Hey Chris, what languages can you speak? Greetings from Germany and Free Palestine. Heute ist mein Deutsch total schlecht, aber als ich junge war, habe ich Deutsch für vielleicht, weiß ich nicht, 6 Jahre gestudiert. Aber heute, yeah, mein Deutsch ist total schlecht. Basically, I used to speak German, but not anymore. همچنین من یک کمی فارسی صحبت میکنم. اما فارسی هم خیلی بد است چون که وقتی که من در دانشگاه اکستر من زمان برای فارسی درس نخواندم. Here you go. Here it is. The purpose of Israel's peace was multifold. The first facet was to occupy southern Lebanon. The SLA, trained and armed by Israel, the southern Lebanese army, protected the buffer zone imposed by Israel south of the Litani. Israeli goods flooded Lebanese markets where they were re-exported to other countries from Lebanese ports. A torture prison called Khiam, operated by the SLA, held at any given time hundreds of people accused of resisting the Israeli occupation. Their interrogation and torture were escalated to the Israeli forces as the Israelis deemed necessary. And there's just the way that she talks about this. The date on May 25th, 2000, the date that commemorates Israel's forced withdrawal from Lebanon, is marked in Lebanese government calendars as Resistance and Liberation Day. Be on screen. The VODs we could... No particular rush, but I was hoping at some point the chat could be on screen. Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. I really want to get that done, but I'm just not... I'm normally just, like, doing so many different things. I'm just doing so many different things that I just end up struggling. I feel like you're just making subtle Nazi references, so I'm going to time you out because I'm not sure. Made a moderate use book to end neoliberalism. What does that mean? What do you mean? Can you explain alle Dinge sind sich selbst widersprechend? What is that? All things are themselves again spoken? Is that what? No, what's vida? Vida is again. I don't know. I'm going to have to translate that. All things are self-contradictory. Well, I've studied a lot of Hegel, so I could probably... Not a lot, actually. I could probably talk about Hegel. White boy stuns waiter by saying... White boy stuns waiter by... Man khorme sabzi dost daram. Och man kheli gorosne hastam. Oh. That's what I'm going to do when I go. That's what I do when I go to Iranian restaurants. In fact, that is whenever I go to... that's whatever I do... Vida is again, but Vida is... I don't actually know what Vida is. The link is in the chat. Which link? Sorry, I'll just read this. I do want to talk about this. This designation reflects not a merging of ideals to celebrate, but an articulation of cause and effect. On that day, the people of the South stormed Khiam. Shaky videos document the moments that they made it inside. Videos I return to often, which remind me both of the goal and its costs. In one clip, prisoners angle their heads to look upward through a slot in their cell, anxious to discern the source of the screams, and the sound of metal clanking against the metal flooding the narrow hallway leading to them. In their expressions, the viewer can see a shift. They recognize the sounds do not come from their sadistic prison guards, but their families. What separates them has been resolved. In an instant, only a door. And before the door opens, they are already free. The first time I came across these videos online, tears welled in my eyes. Before I had consciously processed what I was seeing. Liberation. I am far from alone. These images and what they meant coming from southern Lebanon helped inspire the Second Intifada in Palestine. Israel's efforts to portray its will as divine and inescapable were crushed. What it maintained over its enemies was the fear of what they might do to their people. After Israel's retreat from southern Lebanon, Khiam was turned into a memorial. Former prisoners conducted tours where they mapped personal testimonies of Zionist brutality onto the prison landscape, its blood-stained walls and electricity poles, and onto their own bodies. I visited the facility with my family as a child, and I can still recall my stunned, adamant refusal to accept even the possibility of the cruelty our tour guide described. I told myself he must be lying. It took me years until 2006 until I believed him. It's a really good article. I have got mods. Do you have that video of the little, I can't remember. Yippie, trinke ich Cola. Meine Mama hat mir mein Gott, Leute. Meine Mama hat mir einfach erlaubt, dass ich Cola trinken darf. Wie cool ist das? Jetzt zocke ich Fortnite und trinke ich Cola. Yippie. There you go. There's a rendition of that. That's the only thing I know in German. Lebanon was liberated, but unfortunately they still live under the yoke of Israeli imperialism. Unfortunately, living next to Israel is living under the yoke of Israeli imperialism. Hi Chris, I messaged you on the about this on the USA. Will you ever talk about that work? I will talk about it. It will talk about that work, and it's not rude to ask. I just kind of whatever I will what I will ever do with it. Like whether I'll publish it, whether I'll take it further. I'm not 100% sure. It kind of remains to be seen. And drink cola. Exactly. Minecraft. Well, Minecraft's owned by Microsoft, but if you're like me, you probably bought Minecraft about 14, 15 years ago, probably, around that much time. Was that a stroke? Yeah, I just had a mini stroke. Israel is preparing to strike Iran quickly if Witkoff diplomacy fails this weekend. Trump's envoy sounded the alarm about what would come next. Iran's retaliation could overwhelm Israel's defences and cause heavy damage. Iran has also vowed to strike US targets in the region in the event of an attack on its nuclear sites. The US is in the process of withdrawing diplomats and military families who could be in harm's way. Sorry, one second. Is Kunzler a German name? Swiss. But yeah, basically, this is the other significant news. So the US is withdrawing diplomats, and I also believe military families as well. So it looks, I mean, the thing is we've seen so many points where it seems like significant things are going to happen. Like where it seems like, right, we're at the point of no return. Like, yeah, Iran is going to be attacked, all of these things, but it just doesn't. It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen what will actually be the outcome, because you just don't know until it's going to happen. Like, I wish I could tell you exactly what it was, but it's so hard to know. Witkoff already failed, right? It isn't actually said whether Witkoff's negotiation has failed. Trump told reporters Thursday he doesn't want to say an Israeli strike is imminent, but that it might very well happen. Trump stressed he wants to avoid conflict, but said that will require concessions that Iran has been unwilling to make. Witkoff is preparing. I mean, this is also the key point. Iran doesn't seem to want to stop enriching uranium, so yeah, it remains to be seen. Israeli officials say the IOF are on high alert. Netanyahu has been waiting for a green light from Trump to make his move. I do think Netanyahu is baying for an opportunity to attack Iran. But it just hasn't been happening. It hasn't been given. It's not surprising. I mean, an attack on Iran by Israel just causes so much regional instability. For Israel, it's basically... Are you going to join the Iranian military? You could solo the entire world. Well, yeah. I mean, I have, asthma and I can't see very well, but I think I'll be able to solo the world because I've got big biceps that definitely aren't just vanity muscles. And I'm not using a Zin. What's all this Zin allegation? I'm not going too hard on Zins. It's not true. It's chewing gum with nicotine in it. Pretty big oof. Shout out for making 5 people members. I'm not creative. Well done. You've been looking for one. Goodness me, shout out to all the people who just got memberships. Living Through Music, Casey. Mad, there are a lot of members now. I have so many. Thank you so much, honestly. Thank you so much. Can I send gift memberships? Let's go indeed. But yeah, last Thursday, Witkoff held a closed-door briefing on Iran with a group of Republican senators. Among them was Sens Rish, Republican Idaho. Graham, is that Lindsey Graham? What's SC? Santa... What is SC? Which state is that? I don't know. Why am I... Southern California? No? What? South Carolina. Is it South Carolina? It's South Carolina, isn't it? Yeah, it's South Carolina, not Southern California. Barrasso, Wyoming. There you go. I know that one. Ricketts from Nebraska. Yeah, I worked it out, don't you worry. The source with knowledge said, Witkoff told the senators that military strikes by Israel are on the table if no agreement is reached. I mean, who knows? Who knows whether they'll ever, whether they'll get them or not, whether they'll get the, so what did someone just ask? The ultra-Orthodox draft, I'll talk about shortly. I'll talk about that shortly. But yeah, it remains to be seen. He then brought up Iran's ballistic missiles capabilities. The US is concerned Israel's air defenses would not be able to handle an Iranian response involving hundreds of missiles. This was It literally telegraphed its attack last time, and the Houthis have nearly struck Ben Gurion Airport, and it is requiring so many THAAD missiles and so much money to just shoot down a couple of Houthi missiles. Imagine if Iran sent more and more missiles at them. It is plausible that they could get through and carry out serious amounts of attacks. Like, it's not like outside the realms of possibility. But who knows? Who knows? Honestly. Who knows whether it will actually happen and what the actual outcome will be. Your master's in Middle Eastern Studies, not US. Yes. Santa Claus. Yeah. He's Santa Claus. Is there a custom banned word setting for chat, by the way? I don't think there is. Ricketts Northeast is one of the most unqualified senators. Why is he there? Knew it. I mean, I don't think you have to be very qualified to be an American politician. I'm just going to tell you now. The guy, as I've said, the guy who organised the Afghan jihad, Charlie Wilson, who was a Texan senator, right? Afghanistan. Was a cocaine addict, seemingly. Yeah, he was a Texas politician. I showed this the other day. There are photos of him with the Mujahideen. It's so funny. Here he is. This guy was just doing cocaine and just hanging out with the Mujahideen. So, you know, I don't think there's much requirement of qualification to be a US senator or to be involved in significant negotiations. Yeah, you are right. I need to ponder a funny to say. Oh, thank you, Teddy. I mean, well, if you have one, do. If you don't worry. Such an attack, Witkoff, would cause massive casualties and damage. Witkoff also raised concerns about Iran's ballistic missile arsenal during a speech in New York on Wednesday, calling it as big of an existential threat for Israel as Iran's nuclear capabilities. According to US estimates, Iran has 2,000 ballistic missile warheads that can carry 2,000 pounds of explosives or more. A US official said Israel is within range for many of these missiles. On Wednesday, Iran's Minister of Defense claimed Iran had developed a new ballistic missile with a 4,000 pound warhead. I mean, it's a good job Israel doesn't have any refugee camps, because all Israel has been doing is dropping major bombs on refugee camps. So, well, actually, you know what? Israel, or occupied Palestine, has a ton of refugee camps because, of course, they expelled the Palestinians and put them into refugee camps, you know? Various scandals. Yeah, it's pretty mad that you're right about Charlie Wilson. I hate Ricketts so much. He told me in college that if poor people in his state can't afford to live where they are, they should move to cities with better wages. Yeah, I mean, that's a great take. I think that everyone who's too poor should just go elsewhere. I think that they should just do that. It's a great idea, isn't it? Not having nuclear arms is anti-Semitic. So good me if Brzezinski also used to hang around. Did Brzezinski? You know, Brzezinski also used to say stuff like Palestine, that he really believed in a two-state solution and like pressuring Israel, but then it never came to fruition, or doing famously, if you're poor, by the way, if you're poor, you should leave the chat because you haven't super chatted me. That's all I'm saying. That's my advice as the senator of this chat. If you haven't super chatted today, get out now. The US official said that the previous Iranian missile attack on Israel, Iran has significantly increased production to around 50 per month. So they're making 50 ballistic missiles per month, which is fucking mad. You know, is that a lot? Is that a lot of ballistic missiles? I don't know what a normal amount of ballistic missiles are. Yeah. I'm joking. Please don't leave the chat. I care much more about you being here than being than the donations. Revolt now. I'm gonna crush the peasant revolt in the chat. That's what I'm saying. With my land barons, the land barons who are given real estate in Kunzlaria. The official said the Iranian goal is to produce more ballistic missiles than the number of missile defense interceptors Israel has. I don't know how many they have. This guy also has a name. This guy's name is literally something that sounds like it should be in fucking, I don't know, Apocalypse Now. General Eric Kurilla. There's a Michael Kurilla as well, isn't there? He's head of CENTCOM. He says... I didn't realise I was a landowner. Indeed you are. Indeed any mod is a landowner. I have 0 ballistic missiles. Exactly. Everyone in the chat should donate ballistic missiles. We need 5 ballistic missiles to be donated per week. Kurilla said an Israeli strike on Iran would expose US forces in the Middle East to the threat of Iranian retaliation. The US is evacuating non-essential staff from its Baghdad embassy and family members of military personnel from several bases in the Gulf. The State Department imposed security restrictions Thursday on US diplomats and their families. I mean, Iran's President Pezeshkian said Thursday that Iran will not agree to stop enriching uranium. Trump has insisted it must. It's kind of like the ceasefire in Gaza. The reason we don't have a ceasefire is because Israel is unwilling to end the war, whereas Palestinians want that. So, you know, I mean, here's the basic issue. Iran says we won't stop enriching uranium. They say America says you got to do that. So could there be a strike? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Who fucking knows? Because it's not, you know what? Like, I don't want to make these outrageous predictions. I don't want to end up like Hassan when he was like, where Hassan said, you know, oh, Russia won't invade Ukraine. And then the next day they did. But I don't know. I'm going to get my stream shut down. What did I do to get my stream shut down? What did I do? What's the bad juju? I'm on a gift sub that's probably running out soon now. Yeah, I mean, what's his name gifted so many. Members go up. A great guy. Shout out to him for all his support. Russia is never invading Ukraine. Yeah. Hassan should predict that there's going to be World War III and then the next day Israel will be destroyed. Have you not seen his dump truck? Extremely rare as Sanel. Rare. There's a lot of beef going on. Oh, yeah. No fucking Jubilee videos. Right. So, as we've just seen, the US is evacuating non-essential staff. I see. Yeah. Asking for people in chat to donate ICBMs might get me in a bit of trouble. So, that was a joke. I do not actually need any more ICBMs. We've already had plenty donated. So, yeah, that was a joke. I'm just looking to see if there's anything more I can find on this. Any, like, recent updates. I'm checking Mensch OS Int and seeing if he's posting anything. I don't think it'll maybe happen before the weekend. I was pretty convinced that it was going to happen before the weekend. But, who knows? Who fucking knows? Maybe Israel will do it like 5 minutes after I stop streaming. Russia never invaded. Yeah, Russia never invaded, indeed. We meant in Minecraft. From the Ministry of Concern, that was a joke. Please do not donate missiles. Yeah, the Iranian government is watching this and considering what should it do. Should it send a missile to me? A lot of beef going on. Is that a euphemism for Hassan's fatty? No. I like Hassan. Your Honour, it was just a silly goof. Exactly. I don't actually want any more missiles. Forget the new PC. I've been donating so he can buy uranium. Exactly. That's really what I need money for. I need money for more uranium. I'm just having a look through. No, right, there's nothing I want to see there. Tehran supports this stream. Yeah, Tehran does. They don't have to sit and we can send them. You should be safe making predictions. If you go with the dumbest option, it is the American government. Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing is that, but it's just, you know what, anyone telling you that they can predict the future, that they know what's going to happen. I mean, when it comes to certain things, like Israel doing genocide, it's very obvious that that was going to happen, because Israel was doing genocide from the second it began attacking Gaza. That was all it had wanted to do, and it had long begun the genocide of Palestinians, its attempt to destroy and wipe away Palestine. So it wasn't so much of like a bold prediction, but much more like an extension of what Israel was going to do, basically, yeah. It was all goose until Chris starts speaking Farsi. Yeah. Persian, Farsi, Iranian. So this is what Pezeshkian said. If they destroy our nuclear facilities with a bomb, they will be destroyed. All these capabilities are in our minds. And therefore, whatever they do, we will rebuild. The IRGC commander, Hossein Salami, said... It's not Hossein Salami, it's Hossein Salami, isn't it? Hossein Salami said Thursday said Thursday that Iran is ready for war and has already been determined the targets it will attack. He stressed Iran's response to any Israeli attack will be more painful and more destructive than the 2 massive missile strikes against Israel last year. On Thursday, Iran also announced new military exercises it would focus on movements of the enemy. The fact that 2 previous Iranian missile strikes ended with limited damage and few casualties gave Israelis confidence they could deal with similar attacks in the future. What to watch? I mean, this is not the greatest outlet, by the way. This is just not the greatest ad thing in the world. Sorry, this is not the greatest outlet in the world. Why are you saying just use an ad blocker? Oh, no. Iran to enrich uranium and Chris Kunstler. They will not allow Chris to gain new computer equipment. Exactly. They don't want to see the things I'm going to do with new computer equipment. Hussein Masalami Steini. So Israel's security cabinet... The meeting... Witkoff will meet Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on Sunday in Oman to discuss Iran's response to US nuclear deal proposal. The meeting could determine whether diplomatic efforts continue or a military operation will begin. Israel's security cabinet will convene Thursday to discuss the crisis. Witkoff spoke Wednesday with Netanyahu about the rising tensions and will meet his top advisor Ron Dermer on Friday ahead of his trip to Oman, along with Mossad director David Barnea. According to Israeli official, we want to make a deal with Chris, but deal or no deal, Chris cannot have PC parts. Exactly. I cannot have new RAM because the things I will do with this. But yeah, who honestly? It's kind of like this thing of like, it's plausible. This could all well happen. But it also may just come to nothing. It might just end up with there being negotiations, and that could be it. That could be it. It could just all slow down. But who knows? Genuinely, who knows? I saw that there was a Knesset vote yesterday. I want to look into that. So yesterday there was a vote in Israel on dissolving the Knesset. Yeah, if you don't like the stream, my moustache will fall off. There's an embargo only for Chris. Yes. There's an arms embargo about enriching my computer capacities. What was I going to say? So the Israel... Oh, fucking hell, hold on. So the Israeli Knesset rejects a vote on dissolving itself. So yesterday the Israeli Knesset could have dissolved itself, but they decided not to. Noah's stash died for Chris's, indeed. Yeah, so the Knesset was voting to dissolve itself, but it's more members who would have dissolved the parliament, and then it would have meant elections, basically. Sorry, I'm going to take this off. So, on Thursday, a preliminary vote to dissolve itself, the Knesset said in a statement after an agreement was reached. The vote, which could have been a first step leading to an early election that polls show Benjamin Netanyahu would lose, was rejected, with 61 lawmakers opposing it to 53 supporting it. So that was quite a big abstention, but I guess 61 means it can't be won, so it doesn't matter. The Knesset consists of 120 seats, and the majority needed to pass the vote was 61 lawmakers. That seems pretty fucking telegraphed. Pretty planned in terms of it, yeah. In terms of it being this thing of like, we just got over the threshold. But then maybe it's because people didn't bother voting after that. So Netanyahu further time to resolve its worst political crisis yet and avoid a ballot which would be Israel's first since the eruption of the genocide in Gaza. Netanyahu has been pushing hard to resolve a deadlock in his coalition over a new military conscription bill. So basically, the key issue is that ultra-Orthodox Jewish people want to study the Torah all day. And Netanyahu doesn't want that. And many Israelis... By the way, this is like a fracture in Israeli society because ultra-Orthodox and the ultra-religious in Israel, basically what they want is Israel to be a state governed by halakha law. Whereas, like, obviously most people in Israel are more interested in being nominally a democracy that, yes, abuses Palestinian rights, but isn't ruled by, like, Jewish religious law, basically. That's just objectively not what they want. So yeah, that's basically what's going on here. And this is a section of it. And there's many other things relating to this, such as how the people who are ultra-Orthodox tend to not do anything, really, like, apart from study Torah. And so most Israelis who are like liberal and earn more money and live in Tel Aviv, and I mean liberal in the Israeli style, not like liberal, well, I suppose that is pretty liberal really when you think about how liberals have supported Israel's genocide pretty fucking unequivocally. Really funny how this is one of the few instances of theistic fundamentalism. I mean, I guess the thing I would say in relation to that, Tanuki, is that I guess you could say the whole of Israel is pretty fucking far right. Like, the whole state of Israel and Zionism as a project is far right because it's a settler colonial project, and that's just incredibly racist. It's basically based on the idea that Palestinians don't deserve a right to live within their own historic homeland. That's like the key thing, basically. That's what it's premised on. Like, Palestinians are basically backward savages who shouldn't have their own homeland. And so, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, they have pretty similar goals of expelling Palestinians and believing that this is a Jewish state. It's just largely about what being a Jewish state means, I guess, really. Like, whether a Jewish state is one that is governed by halakha law, one that is dominated by Jewish people and serves exclusively Jewish people. Like, what does being a Jewish state really mean? And good evening, Zeb. Part of why Hila thought Yoav Gallant was a good guy was that part of the reason that Hila thought Yoav Gallant was a really good guy. Why have I missed that? I don't know why I can't find that. Oh, it was a really good guy was that he wanted... Yeah, that's why they disagreed with him and expelled him. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the only democracy in the Middle East which serves exclusively Jewish people, although then again, seemingly Western democracy has only ever been able to serve the dominant nation, and the national minority have always been, the national minority have always been suffering, basically. Aren't a lot of Israelis atheists? Yes, a lot of Israelis are atheists and secular, and they don't really care about the state of Israel. They don't really care about the state of Israel. They don't really care about Jewish law, like Jewish religious law dominating in Israel. And so, like, the secular people tend to be better off. Ultra-Orthodox have way more children, pay less taxes, and so these things are upsetting to Israelis who live in Tel Aviv and make more money, basically. I am pleased to announce that after long discussions, we have reached agreements on the principle of the draft law will be based. Knesset's Foreign Affairs and Defence Minister, some religious parties in Netanyahu's coalition are seeking exemptions for ultra-Orthodox Jewish seminary students from military service that is mandatory in Israel, while other lawmakers want to scrap any such exemptions altogether. So there's basically a beef about all of this. The exemptions have been such a hot-button issue in Israel for years, but have become particularly contentious during the war in Gaza, the genocide in Gaza, as Israel has suffered its highest battlefield casualties in decades, and its stretched military is in the need of more troops. Growing increasingly impatient with the political deadlock, ultra-Orthodox coalition factions have said they will vote with opposition parties in favour of dissolving the Knesset and bringing forward an election that is not due until late 2026. It's more than ever urgent to replace Netanyahu's government, and it's specifically this toxic and harmful government, said Labour's opposition lawmaker Merav Michaeli. It's urgent to end the war the genocide in Gaza and bring back all the hostages. It's urgent to start rebuilding and healing the state of Israel. God, that is not a promising thing. I mean, ending the genocide, great, end the genocide, but rebuilding and healing Israel, ugh. Laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic ethnic group in any given nation. Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate thing. States tend to serve the nation, which is the people who make it up. Well, the guy messaged me on... and he said... Hold on. I don't know if DMs aren't working on Twitter. Hold on, let me check if I can see this guy on Twitter or if he blocked me. So the guy messaged me on Twitter and was like, you ran away from debating me. And then I just haven't responded to him. So I guess I could respond to him. But he has 44 following and 0 followers. And his only tweet... Oh no, he replies to tweets all the times. He replies to like F1 tweets. And then he tweeted... Me in the shower taking 10 minutes to decide the perfect 20-minute playlist. That's the only thing he's posted. Yeah. Nice Lotus, yeah, who I could not find on via... what's it called? I don't know if he's here. But yeah, I mean, who do I debate? What, like, bring up Lonerbox again? Like, no thank you. I don't want to have a chat with Lonerbox. Lonerbox is a clown. But yeah, Netanyahu would lose in an election with Israelis still reeling over the security phase. Hamas's surprise attack. God, you know I make jokes about, I make all of these jokes about, like, how fucking, like, you have to do your daily Hamas condemnations. Like, literally, just read this. Every article has this. Led to 1,002. Israel's offensive against Hamas has killed almost 55,000 Palestinians, according to health officials in Gaza, left much of the territory in ruin, and its more than 2 million population largely displaced. By the way, this framing is also really fucking pathetic, because the problem with this framing of all of it is that it's not that the place has been destroyed because of what's been... Sorry. The reason that Gaza has been destroyed isn't just for, like, no reason at all. Like, it's not just, didn't just happen, basically. The reason that it happened was because Israel has intentionally been destroying it. It's not even from bombardment or anything. They've just been blowing up tons of the Gaza Strip because they don't want Palestinians to live there and they don't want Palestinians to exist in it. Like, that's the truth, you know? That's as simple as that. As simple as that. Do you condemn Hamas? No, I haven't. I haven't condemned Hamas enough today. I'll probably go off after this and probably just sit down and condemn Hamas for a few hours, but we'll see if it happens. I'm just seeing if there's any more about Iran. I don't think there is anything more about Iran. Who knows whether it will happen again? It seems plausible. Like, Zay Squirrel is 100% sure it will happen, but who knows? There is a video that I wanted to watch about the UK's defence minister being grilled from Declassified UK.
Why are you still sharing intelligence with Israel at this stage?
I've got nothing more to add.
Defence Secretary, why is the UK still sharing intelligence with Israel and sending surveillance flights over Gaza? You've sanctioned their ministers, but you're still sharing intelligence with them.
Does he actually manage to get close, or is this just him shouting at him from a distance? Okay, here we go. Right, here we go.
So I know you want asked. Hello there, Defence Secretary. My name's Phil Miller. I'm a journalist from Declassified UK. Can I ask you a couple of questions about the Royal Air Force surveillance flights that you keep sending over Gaza and the intelligence that you're sharing with Israel, Minister?
Good morning.
Morning. How can you justify continuing to send these planes over Gaza and sharing?
It's really weird, like, just watching this, where they just can't talk about something that the UK people have no say over. Because surely this should just be put to a vote, right? Because if it was actually put to a vote, I don't think anyone would vote in favour of it. Or at least the vast majority of people would not vote in favour of this. And so it's just all fucking ridiculous, you know?
Sharing intelligence with Israel when your own government has just sanctioned 2 far-right ministers. One of them's the National Security Minister, the other has duties in the Defence Ministry. Why are you still sharing intelligence with Israel at this stage of the genocide?
Look, I've made entirely clear to Parliament the nature of those flights, the restricted nature of the intelligence linked to finding and helping free hostages. And
they're also doing a pretty bad job, for all of the money that they spent. I mean, there's a bit of a Freudian slip there, because they're doing a good job helping the genocide, but they're not doing a good job in terms of, like, helping them rescue hostages, seeing as they've managed to rescue fucking none, basically. They've rescued, like, 5 or 6, right? Alive?
And I've got nothing more to add.
Isn't it time you did a proper sit-down interview with a journalist about this, though, sir? Because you've not really had any independent scrutiny of these flights.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to come up with another cabinet member who's done more sit-down interviews with the media in the last 2 or 3 weeks than me as Defence Secretary, because we face very difficult times, changing world, increasing threats.
I love how they just always say shit like this. Oh, there's difficult times, changing threats. Every single time seems to be a difficult time of changing threats. It's ridiculous.
That's why we're...
But no journalist has asked you about the Royal Air Force spy flights over Gaza, have they, Minister? You've sent hundreds of these flights. How can you trust that the intelligence being shared with Israel is not being used to target civilians in Gaza? So that was the Defence Secretary, John Healey, and not risk his own life to try the sanctions.
It's just so ridiculous. Like, we're told, oh, yeah, hold on. I want to see... So apparently, this is now from Declassified as well. So this is Rachel Maskell, who's another member of Parliament, and she said... To ask the Secretary of State for Defence, when the last time was that a member of the Israeli Defence Force was trained by the UK Armed Forces? Luke Pollard, as part of routine defence engagement with Israel, the UK is currently training a limited number. So we're still training Israeli forces as they do genocide in Gaza. Like, that's how mad this is. Like, the level of collaboration between the UK and Israel is genuinely unbelievable. Like, it's just basically unequivocal support for Israel to do genocide. And we protect their arms firms from activists. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But also, at least he talked to them kinder. I mean, yeah, but, like, you're an elected official, right? Like, you're an official in a government. Like, we always go on and on about democracy and all this crap. But when these people just walk away from you, I guess the only difference in an authoritarian country is that, you know, in an authoritarian country, like, maybe you won't even be able to talk to them. But it's like, yeah. It's just ridiculous. So we're sending them jet parts, training soldiers, and doing a significant amount of intelligence. Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. The UK, someone put it like this. The UK isn't just complicit. The UK is, like, directly participating in what's going on there. Like, categorically, we're still selling them weapons. Like, you know, this is the thing as well, and I kind of tried to point this out in my video about it that's on my YouTube channel. Like, until this fundamental relationship is undermined of just, like, giving Israel unlimited weaponry to just do genocide, it's pointless. And here's a Haaretz article that's in Hebrew, so I can't find it, but I could find it, but I don't want to go through the process of finding it. But if you want to see it, it's posted by BM. So this is a translation. Imposing sanctions on Ben-Gvir and Smotrich distinguishes between the government and citizens, allowing the West to go with and feel without. It is no coincidence that Britain and its partners imposing sanctions on Ben-Gvir and Smotrich focused on the incitement the two engaged in, rather than their decisions or actions. Statements as opposed to actions give Western diplomacy greater room for manoeuvre. Alongside the distinction the countries have made between ministers and the government, another distinction stands out, more importantly and honest, between the government of Israel and the citizens of the country. I mean, it's true. Like, who's done the genocide? Like, this is the thing about all these people who are like, yeah, Israelis actually are all good and nice. Israelis are all really nice and kind. Like, that's the thing you've got to understand. Israelis, they're actually nice and kind to Palestinians and they want peace, but, you know, the hard truth really is that, well, Israeli civilians are the ones who've done the genocide. They're the ones who've enthusiastically supported the genocide, and they should be held to account for that. Like, you can't just let them get away with it. And moreover, like, sanctioning these guys just for what they do in the West Bank is fundamentally ridiculous when they control Israel's economy and their prison system and their police. Like, that's what Ben-Gvir does: prison system and economy. Prison system and police. And Smotrich controls the economy. Like, okay, you think these guys are like mad maniacal criminals that should be dealt with. Why are you just sanctioning them for like what they do in the West Bank? You know? Like what is this? It's not good enough. It's not acceptable, you know? I don't think there's background music, is there? The background music's from the video, I think. Is there background music? Is there still background music? Sorry, I'm just checking my messages, see if anyone's messaging me. The problem is that everyone knows where they are. They are stuck in torture prisons. The problem is actually they're actively harmed at the moment. What do you mean, Palestinians or? We're the facilitator and catalyst. I mean, indeed, these are the. Indeed, we are the complete and utter facilitator of the Gaza genocide. Like, categorically, we are the ones who facilitate it. We are the ones who are still refusing to sanction any of these people for all of their crimes that they've committed. Hold on, there was an article I meant to go through yesterday. So, of course, Israeli media, as always, is reporting some of the craziest shit imaginable from, you know, the peace-loving Israelis. Right, here it is. So, 64% of Israelis see no need for more reporting on Gazan suffering, Palestinian suffering. 41% of those polled by the Hebrew University said reports on local channels 12 and 13 were biased in favour of Palestinians in Gaza. 64% believe that there are no innocent people in the enclave. Not looking for Palestinian prisoners. Yeah, I mean, I see. Yeah. Palestinians who are held prisoner, literally just, you know, they're subject to rape and torture by people who we've sanctioned now. Like, what? Like, yeah. It's unbelievable. It's just genuinely the most ridiculous things. They just want to dance. It makes me upset. The term Gazan is applicable, but it's not applicable in the way it's used. Gazan refers to someone who's not from historic... all of them are from historic Palestine, but wasn't ethnically cleansed in 1948, basically, is how you would use it, how you would use the term correctly. You muted it a couple of minutes ago. Okay. Reporters and editors at Israel's major news outlets have admitted more than once, especially in private conversations, that their employers haven't allowed them to present humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the suffering of the population as a result of the genocide Israel has been waging there. Like, this is also the thing. Like, by the way, Israel is waging genocide. It doesn't have a free press, like a free thing. And so calling it a democracy is so fucking ridiculous. So utterly ridiculous. But yeah... Now, a year and 8 months into the genocide started by Hamas on October the 7th, started by Israel's settler colonial policies, the results of a public opinion poll by the Achord Center of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem may help explain the decision to provide sparse coverage at best of the situation in Gaza. Sorry, one second. Ghazawi. Ghazawi just means person from Gaza. That's basically what it means. But it's based on the context of who's saying it. Exactly. But it's not what they're saying. Like, they're not saying it. Like, people who live there just are not Gazan. Like, basically. The vast majority of them aren't. Right, so here we go. According to the survey conducted by Dr. Boaz Cherky and Lee Alder, 64% of Israelis believe that the local media's reporting on Gaza has been balanced, and there is no need to present a broader picture regarding the situation of Gaza civilians. By the way, there is so many Israeli news channels of just people who are like on Israeli news just openly calling for genocide, saying there are no innocents in Gaza, and all of these things that are said by Israeli officials on their televisions, Israeli news reporters and all of these things, and then they just go, yeah, I think the reporting has been balanced or actually not good enough. It's just insane, you know. Just unbelievable. Chris is getting weak. Like the stream, guys. Chris, you're on energy by liking the stream. Right. Among respondents who voted for parties in the current governing coalition, 89% supported that view, while only 44% of the respondents who voted for parties in the opposition shared it. I mean, it's still very high. 56% of the latter group said that a broader picture should be provided. The poll was conducted during the last week in May among a representative sample of 1,112 Israelis. 41% of all respondents said that the news on Israel's two mainstream commercial stations are biased in favour of the population of Gaza, while 37% said that reporting on the subject was balanced, and 21% said it was biased. Genuinely insane. Genuinely insane. Among the voters for coalition parties, fully 79% said that the two stations were biased in favour of the population. There's also some unbelievable stuff here. Whereas only 12% of voters share this view, 5% of opposition parties' voters said their stations were balanced in their coverage of the subject, and 32% said it was biased against the Gazans. A separate earlier study by political communications researcher Dr. Ayala Paniewski, conducted with City Street George's University of London and Israel's Molad, the Centre for the Renewal of Israeli Democracy, found an almost total absence of coverage of civilian deaths in Gaza's Channel 12 reporting during the first... So this is 6 months and they just didn't cover the deaths of it at all. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Which is widely considered to be supportive of Netanyahu, was perceived by 39%. I just wanted to see if I could find this one particularly innocent part. Here you go. Another question asked by the poll was to what extent respondents agreed with the statement that there were no innocent people in Gaza. 64% agreed with it to a large extent, describing their agreement as between 4 and 6 on a scale in which 1 is total disagreement and 6 is complete agreement. 87% who agreed with the statement to a large extent. Among supporters of Avigdor Lieberman, Yisrael Beteinu Party, and other right-wing voters who don't support the coalition, 73%. By the way, these are the people who are like, yeah, this is the opposition in Israel. It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous when people are like, yeah, you know, there's a big opposition in Israel. So let's just look. The comparable figure was 67%, while among left-wing voters, 30% largely agreed. 30% of left-wingers agree with that there are no innocent people in Gaza. 30% of left-wingers. That is huge, you know. That is huge. Like 30% who say that that they agree with it. Just unbelievable. Like, you read this. Arab Israelis. So it's among Arab Israelis, 92% disagreed, meaning that they rank their agreement between 1 and 3. So Arab Israelis, Palestinians involved in this are doing the heavy work here. They're doing the heavy work here. I don't know what you're saying, Bob. What is left-wingers in this? People who are against Netanyahu, basically. Hold on, I'll see if this... Hold on, there's something I wanted to do. Right. I thought you weren't streaming. Oh, shit. You probably just saw my Discord. Whoops. Actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. This nice Lotus guy does not exist. There's nothing to dox myself on there with. You can just see like my Discord friends. That's literally it. Which doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can see that I'm talking to Noah, and that's it. I saw who you were DMing, naughty boy. What, Hassan? That was from when I went on his stream. Make sure to smash the MF like button. Indeed, you should smash the MF like button. I also need to respond to her, actually. Yeah, but this guy stopped messaging me, and I don't have his Discord. Right, what were the other things I wanted to talk about? So there's a Piers Morgan thing currently going live of...
quickly and with far fewer...
All right, but just to be clear,
maybe we can watch some of this Piers Morgan thing whilst I see if this guy actually responds. God, the Piers Morgan chat is unbelievable. Am Yisrael Chai! Britain first! Bassem is getting whacked.
To respond to. So let's get into this. Jonathan Conricus, first of all, your reaction.
Teddy, thank you. Maybe we will do a Discord.
Unprecedented news that 2 Israeli senior ministers have effectively been sanctioned by some of Israel's closest allies.
Yeah, it puts into question if it really is a close ally, and I think I'm very disappointed. I think it is.
God, it's so funny how just every Israeli is just crying about 2 ministers being sanctioned. Like, I thought that Smotrich and Netanyahu were fringe and that no one liked them in Israel. Like, these are just senior Israeli government spokesmen endorsing these people, you know? Like, senior government spokesman just endorsing this guy.
Is egregious.
Going on the Madeleine.
Oh, sorry, right, there is one thing. So, by the way, I think everyone from the Madeleine has been released today. No, 2 people are still in jail, but...
Going on the Madeleine. We were on a humanitarian mission, trying to challenge the illegal siege over a decade old, and now during the genocide...
So this is Yasmin Achkar?
They put a siege on top of a siege. They're using starvation as a weapon of war. Today, children are being starved, hundreds and thousands. And our mission was to challenge that. We are a non-violent mission. We carry no weapon at all. And Israel kidnapped us in international waters. They have no jurisdiction in where we were. We were 100 nautical miles away from the Palestinian territory, which is Gaza. They kidnapped us against our will, brought us and jailed us for almost 4 days. They did something illegal. They are breaching international law while occupying Gaza. And the international community needs to stop its complicity. They need to stop sending weapons. They need to send aid instead of weapons. And Germany, I'm a German citizen. This country...
Is Rima... I think Rima has been released. Rima Hassan. I think she has been released. Yeah, Rima's returned to France.
Just last week said that they will send weapons. I'm doing what my country, what my government is supposed to do. But Germany chooses to starve children. Germany chooses to bomb children.
She is categorically right here. Like, her act is so moral in comparison to what our countries are all doing.
Just bomb mothers and fathers. There's no water. It's been 4 months. Not one bottle of water entered Gaza. Not one piece of bread entered Gaza. Why is it that 12 people had to do what the international community was supposed to?
Exactly. Like, by the way, their action that they undertook was categorically supported by the international community. Also, I guess one of the things is Ethan isn't talking about this because he probably has some heinous views on it.
Why do we risk our lives? But I want to say one more thing. Our lives are not more worth than the lives of the people in Gaza. This was our message to the world, that we stand in solidarity. The aid that we brought was a drop in the ocean. But that drop carries a big message to our governments, to their complicity, and to the ones that kept silent for 20 months. We went there and yes, people say we risked our lives, but again, our lives are not more worth than our sisters and brothers in Gaza. And the world must rise. We all have to rise together. I'm pleading to you. I'm begging you, get up. What is happening in Gaza is not normal. For 20 months.
I mean, yeah, she's completely correct. What she's saying here is completely correct, you know. 100%. Like, their act was moral. It was justified. But yeah, I don't know. Is Tiago free? Is Tiago Alvia free? Has it been posted whether Tiago is free? Does anyone know? Is there news about this? Tiago Avila. Tiago Avila is returning to Brazil, and this comes from a deputy federal. I assume that she is, a legitimate source. So it seems that I don't know who the two activists still being held are. Does anyone know in chat? But yeah, ostensibly. Oh, sorry.
I think it's wrong. I think that decision is hypocritical. I think it is unfair and probably impossible standards that are only applied against Israel. And I think it is...
Sorry, to go back to this fucking video. This guy, wait. This guy is saying that the standards applied against Netanyahu are impossible standards. Are impossible standards. Okay, the standard is don't be like a settler maniacal rapist. Like that's basically it, like a maniacal fan of rape who wants to do mass torture and such, because that's what Ben-Gvir is. And thank you, Eliza, for becoming a member. And maybe we will do the Discord server.
Is very unhelpful. And I think that Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the same words, very unhelpful for the UK and a few other countries to gang up against Israel and to do that. I will say...
gang up against Israel. God, they talk about it like it's being bullied in the playground.
That I didn't vote for either of those two ministers, and I probably don't share many of their views and definitely not their language and style of communications. But I will say that they were democratically elected, and that in Israel, which is more than I can say about a lot of people and so-called leaders in the region who are not under UK sanctions, and I think that they represent what their voters feel. Now, without...
But most of these people who are not democratically elected, who he is speaking of here, are just collaborators with Israel. Sisi, not elected, collaborator with Israel. He's literally just been collaborating with Israel over the last few days to help maintain their blockade, Like this idea of like, oh, these unelected people, it's just, there's so many unelected people. Komi Care Bear, thank you for becoming a member.
Espousing and supporting specifically what you quoted Bezalel Smotrich saying, when it comes to humanitarian aid, I think there's a bit of irony here that he is now sanctioned after he himself, as Minister of Finance, signed the budget that pays for humanitarian aid that is now being delivered to Gazans. As far as I know...
He's such a kind guy, this Smotrich guy, He may be using the economy to try and collapse the Palestinian Authority, but he's so kind.
More than 14 million meals have been provided by Israel and the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation over less than 2 weeks, directly to Palestinians, without Hamas or their front organization.
Also, by the way, it's so clear that this is just untrue. And the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, I don't even know how many people have now been killed by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Like, the number of people who have been killed at these things, I think 30 people were killed at one yesterday, right? 30 people were killed at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation yesterday. These have just been spaces where human beings are massacred. Going like, oh, they supplied a bit of aid. What? It's outrageous.
And UNRWA being able to touch, contaminate, control, and divert the aid. And I think that is positive development. Welcome. I think that it is late in the game, and we should have done it earlier, but I'm happy that it's being done now. I'm happy on two fronts, because one, there's a need for food to be provided, and two, it undermines the control and the stranglehold that Hamas has over the Palestinian population. Okay. And I would also say, under the same... Just one last thing, Piers, under this category...
No, 100 were killed in Gaza. I think 30 people were killed at the aid site. I'll see if... Palestine Chronicle... I'll see if Middle East Eye had a post about it. No, they don't. Oh, wait, what? So according to Middle East Eye, at least 60 Palestinians have been killed while seeking food aid in Gaza, according to the health ministry. Most of the deaths on Wednesday took place as starving Palestinians approached a food distribution centre run by the US-backed GHF near Netzarim in central Gaza. So an Israeli-controlled corridor, there's been massacres. At least 25 people were killed and dozens were wounded after Israeli forces opened fire. A further 14 people were killed by Israelis moving towards another site. And I mean, the scenes, by the way, someone put it like this, and I know I mentioned this at the end yesterday, but we didn't get towards it. People would be more upset if animals in a zoo were treated the way that Israel is treating Palestinians there. I just want to pull up the videos from yesterday. There was a video in particular that I wanted to do. I was meant to make a TikTok about this, but I'm just a bit over TikTok at this point. Khaled El-Gindi made a post about it. Like, just, I think we watched this yesterday. I have seen that article. Gaza Humanitarian Foundation whistleblower. It's on Zeteo, isn't it? I'll just look at that. So we'll pull that up. I haven't actually read this yet. I meant to read it. I am one of hundreds of security contractors who have been paid to facilitate the new US-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and it's all bullshit. I joined what sounded like a good mission with good pay through a company called UG Solutions. We were given a little bit of information. By the way, again, Ethan Klein shared an endorsement of this thing. I genuinely cannot even fathom just everyone I've ever known, like all my neighbours and family being slaughtered like it's it is incomprehensible. But this is just what Israel does. Like, this is just what Israel does. Like, Israel slaughters, Israel lies about it, it's propagandists go, actually it's Hamas, they steal the aid, Hamas kill the civilians, Hamas do it all, Hamas are responsible for everything, their moronic fans lap it up, and that's all that matters. They don't care about everything else that comes out, like, hey, this guy who's like, yeah, I was literally involved in it and it's a fucking sham. They don't care about it. They just want to live in a fantasy world where Israel does what it wants. I was told I got a job just days before we were set to depart. It was very last minute. After arriving in DC on May 16th, we received slightly more detailed brief. We were going to provide security for aid sites in Gaza. It was said again and again, if you're here to get your gun on, then pack your shit and go home, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to help. I was happy with that idea. The next day, we departed for the Middle East. Our group included about 300 people of diverse backgrounds, including those who served in special operations, blah, 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 blah. Getting gear and equipment was difficult. They didn't have enough uniforms to go around. They didn't provide optics or scopes for our weapons, like the red dots that help you aim. Weapons themselves were a whole other thing. We were eventually each issued AR-style rifles as well as a pistol sidearm, but no one was tested to ensure they had proper training. It sounds like a really solid organisation, right? This sounds like, you know, a great way to supply aid that Ethan Klein should be speaking about positively. Like, on this topic, by the way, Ethan Klein is just a pro-genocide supporter. Like, he's now collaborating with Dan Saltman. He is, you know, basically in the orbit of destiny, someone who's got sex offence cases, and, you know, he has the audacity to speak about Hassan negatively. It is utterly ridiculous, you know. This man thinks he's some kind of moral individual. He's an abhorrent fucker. An abhorrent fucker. But yeah, like, he literally was talking about this to demonize Hassan. Like, this is literally just the most dehumanizing shit imaginable. And when you said that thing, by the way, about family members being, like, killed, imagine also all your family members and friends being reduced to literally scrabbling in the streets for scraps of shitty humanitarian aid. It's despicable. It's utterly despicable. The next day, we departed for the Middle East. Here we go. Some of us were also given machine guns. We were later issued less lethal options, pepper spray, flashbang grenades. You guessed it, no one was tested to see if they knew how to properly use them. How close to people can you throw a flashbang? If you're going to pepper spray someone, where do you spray? For how long? Nobody knows because nobody told us. Again, like, we're talking about people who don't have access to water, and we're ready to spray them in the face with pepper spray. Why would we do that? They're just trying to get aid. We're there to give it to them. It doesn't make sense. I mean, like, literally, by the way, this just shows you how little, like, Ethan actually knows about Palestine. He had the... And also, by the way, how unmeritorious the concept of debate is. Ethan felt he did well in his debate. There were people who thought he did well in his debate. There's just nothing. He doesn't know anything about Palestine. He's out here sharing positive endorsements of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and saying he's pro-Palestine. This was a sadistic aid plan to expel Palestinians. it's just unbelievable, you know. Like, I think that this is actually probably one of the worst things that Ethan has done. Fork found in kitchen in relation to what? No, I haven't seen Dr. Ferouz Sidhawa. One part of this jumped out to me is, are they not handing out water? I mean, I think that they probably will hand out water in some capacity. So, it's ridiculous. It was a tutoring session with a mentally ill man-child. I mean, I tend to agree with you. His debate with Hassan was get disproven, this is boring, move on, whatever. Do you remember that piece from the ceasefire where Palestinians in Gaza talked about how more humane American mercenaries... Of course, you know, the truth is most Israeli soldiers, like a lot of them who are on the ground, are literally genocidal maniacs who believe that Palestinians don't have a right to do it. There was an article today in Haaretz that said the destruction in Gaza is worse than Hiroshima. And I spoke about this. And by the way, once again, Loaderbox literally said, yeah, this is because Israel, I don't think you understand the level of worse than Hiroshima. He was like, I don't think people actually understand how militarized Gaza really is. Hamas militarized everything there, and so that means Israel had to destroy it. It's a load of fucking shit. The reason that Gaza looks so terrible, the reason that Gaza is so badly destroyed, is because they have sent in an obscene amount of extremist Israelis who are wiping away Palestinian land intentionally. They are wiping it away because they don't want Palestinians there, and they want to clear it away for Jewish settlement. So here it is. Rafah has been flattened and wiped out. There's no such city anymore, and it's far from being the only one. The rate of destroyed buildings in Rafah and Jabalia is higher than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Overall, the destruction in Rafah stands out even compared to extreme cases in modern history. It is more extensive and systematic than the destruction in Aleppo, Mosul, Sarajevo and Kabul. The only place that might compare that springs to mind, I don't know how bad it was across all of Vietnam. I know that Cu Chi would have been destroyed where the tunnel system was, but in the context of this, the only place that might compare is North Korea destruction. I think like 80% of buildings were destroyed. Yeah, here you go. Look at this. This is like the only place that might fucking compare. And this actually, by the way, this was also just intentional and despicable. But this wasn't just carried out by random genocidal fucking freaks who are on the ground just wiping away Gaza. And never forget that, by the way, Loaderbox frames himself as pro-Palestinian. And when he was debunking Noah Samson, he goes, yeah, I think the reason that there's so much destruction in Gaza is because Hamas have militarized everything. That's why there's so much destruction in Gaza. It's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, so conventional weapons such as explosives, incendiary bombs and napalm destroyed nearly all of the country's cities and towns, including an estimated 85% of its buildings. The US dropped 635,000 tons of bombs, including 32,557 tons of napalm during the war on both North and South Korea. He is Scottish, he just doesn't sound like that. He's just more of a little fucking worm with no actual fucking... I don't know, I just hate the guy. The guy's a fucking wormy little... I was going to use a Sopranos style insult there. But I won't. I'll be kind. I'll be kind. I'll be nice. I'll be friendly. Yeah, and then you watch Eye of Terrorists. Yeah. Like this is the thing, by the way, and this is also why it's wrong to say that it's comparable. Israel didn't destroy all of it through bombing. They destroyed it through mass campaigns of just destroying infrastructure, not for military purpose. You can see all of the videos of them blowing shit up for fun, them sending in civilians to go and destroy stuff. They did all of this intentionally to remove Palestinian life and prevent them from ever returning. Like their leaders talk about this properly. Their leaders talk about this openly. And then you cut off and leave us without the Sopranos style insult. It's not major. Sopranos ended 18 years ago yesterday, I think, 2007, which is mad. I was fucking 7 when it ended. No, 6. I was 6 years old. He is a weaselly little liar. I only saw a chat disappear, but couldn't even read it. A lot of the ones gone recently have just been retracted. Mods be working so hard. They retracted themselves. Bonobox has a British accent. He does have a British accent, but he also is Scottish. I also liked my own stream. Is that cringe? Is that cringe, guys? Is that cringe? Your offensive fake Scottish is somehow still less annoying than listening to Lonabox's half American accent inherited from Destiny. I guess it's like a sexually transmitted disease. When you bang the same person as Destiny, you get his horrible accent and mannerisms. Sorry. Here's something slightly more... Well, it's not light-hearted, but... it's not really light-hearted, but here's this. Our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking away very good long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace. In many cases, the criminals allowed into our country by the very stupid Biden open borders policy are applying for those jobs. This is not good. We must protect our farmers, but get the criminals out of the USA. Changes are coming. It's so ridiculous. Like, you're the ones who caused this shortage. It's like this funny thing. It's like this really funny thing. Why are you saying bang and shag? What are you saying? Shag, bang. Oh, who cares? He started doing the genocide apologies and became an Epstein award. But yeah, I mean, it is strange, isn't it? But yeah, it's like I can't really do a very good Trump impression, I'll be honest. What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, it's just like, you know, you're the one. You're the problem. You're the problem. Like, it's not surprising. The rapacious demand of capitalism and the declining white birth rates demands more and more that you bring people over who are willing to work for cheap because they have no other working opportunities. And yeah, it's just not surprising, is it? Oh, also, I've been looking for this clip and I finally found it. Well, this isn't the clip. This is... I love Succession. I really, really like Succession. And here's Brian Cox, who is... Logan Roy.
Well, I'm not pleased with Mr. Starmer and his attitude towards Scotland, because everything for him is England. He talks about England. He talks about English football. He never, and that's what I find really. And I'm at heart a socialist, so I do really get annoyed when it's not about socialism. It's about something.
It's not surprising that Brian Cox is a socialist. He is. In one of the greatest pieces of anti-capitalist media in recent years, like which is Succession. Succession is a brilliant piece of anti-capitalist media because it just shows the misery of exorbitant wealth.
Else, and that's what I feel is lacking.
Like if you literally just watch if you watch Succession. Oh yeah, Shiv Roy would have been libbed up. Shiv Roy would have been libbed up 100%. For you. I can't see what that she says. Hold on, I'll just look. That's some kind... Goozy is like fart, right? I don't know. Someone in the chat could probably tell you better than me. That's not the kind of thing I know. Love you, Chris. Been watching you on TikTok since literally July of 2023. Then you are a proper OG. One tortilla, please. You are a proper OG.
And I'm sick of it, really. I'm fed up. I come back to this country. I love this country, and I see dissension after dissension after dissension. The inability to come together, and it's an appalling situation.
So should the pro-independence parties unite like that man suggested?
Absolutely, they should. Because it's in everybody's interest. They're not interested in us. Because I know for a start that Starmer is certainly not interested in and doesn't want an independent Scotland. He only sees it as a kind of, a sort of...
If Scotland goes independent and they kick out Lonabox and Brian Cox becomes their leader, I knew what it said, I just didn't know whether you'd send something Gonde Guzi. I didn't know if you'd send something really offensive and I didn't want to read it. But if they kick Lonabox out and make Brian Cox the sort of leader of Scotland, I'll be straight there.
To what he is.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But Brian Cox also had another very bad take.
What we're seeing in Gaza and what has become in Gaza is a genocide.
I mean, you know what? I don't think we should just like congratulate someone massively for saying that. I mean, he's a prominent actor, but he is like, his point here, like, anyone denying it being a genocide is literally just lying to you for money. Like, they are lying to you. Like, they are lying to you. They are lying to you. 100% they are lying to you.
It's an absolute genocide.
Israel, you know, Brian, rejects the term genocide.
I need to tell you, Israel doesn't like it when you call it a genocide. Hila Klein rejects it when you call it a genocide.
Genocide. They say their fight is with the Hamas as an organisation rather than the Palestinian people.
I want to see Brian Cox's full response, but I can't find it. I couldn't find it. Maybe it's on YouTube. I can't find this full clip. Can't find it. Who cares? But yeah, very based from him. Right, there was a couple of other things. We needed to get back to that article Hassan read yesterday, because I wanted to read this as well. This is all I do on stream. I just read articles that I should be reading in my spare time. Because I'm lazy. Because I'm very lazy. And an idiot. A moron, even. Right. What was I going to say? Right. J.K. Rowling was also one of the most prominent anti-Corbyn voices. Yes, not surprising. J.K. Rowling wants nothing good for anyone. She just wants pure misery for everybody in the world. Pure misery because her life is so pathetic and miserable. Also, did any of you see just Destiny using the K slur talking about Hassan? I won't show it on screen because it'll probably get me in trouble. So, So this is according to Disclosed TV. Apparently issues a security warning for the entire MENA. If they issue a security, it could mean that they fear Israel-Iran conflict is expanding. Remains to be seen whether it will be mostly symbolic like previously, but who fucking knows. That's pretty major. That's pretty major. This is like a book cover. I also didn't read it because I'm not so sure. Nah, I just haven't watched it. No, Destiny just posted a K slur for Jewish people. He was like, he said Hassan should call Ethan a K word, which is just really weird. You're not Jewish and you're just using that slur. It's really, really bizarre. Really, really, really bizarre. It's really bizarre. But yeah, and I'm not even mentioning the fact that these guys are also sleep deprived. Before we were deployed, we were told we were going to be working 12-hour shift, 4 days on, 2 days off. We've actually worked 20-hour days sometimes, no days off. We were told we're operating within international law, but they never delineated what those laws and guidelines were. The only strict guidance was that if you or those around you felt threatened, you have authority to defend yourself. But that left a lot of grey areas. God, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. So you have guys with hardly any knowledge of the culture, no deployment experience. Well, I mean, that's not true. The people do have knowledge of what's going on there, but they're just racist. They're just racists in that region. So I guess they have no knowledge, but their knowledge is just pure racism. Sorry, excuse me. Right. A lot did go wrong. On my first day, the second official day of the mission, we were overrun. It was pure chaos. At the aid site's entrance, we had people waiting in 5 lines, separated by metal fencing. One lane was strictly for women and children. The other 4 were all for men. They were letting people in 5, 10, 20 at a time, whatever we could handle. It was not organised, and people were getting smushed and trampled. Eventually, there were so many people in the lanes, the gates burst. Sorry, 1 second. We fell back. I know, that's my whole plan. I want you all to talk like British people, mediocre violist. We fell back, letting people get the aid. They were never aggressive towards us. They were only trying to get aid. Aid, by the way, that consisted of flowers, lentils, rice, tea bags, and noodles. Things that needed water. They don't have any water, and we're not... Oh, you are right that they're not giving out water, so whoever said that earlier. But yeah, we soon had to fall back to a second perimeter. At that point, some personnel started firing warning shots in the air, and then we fell back more as we were being overrun. We were directed to push everyone out, even as they still collected items off the ground. We all got in a line and began pushing these people out. We're telling crying women trying to pick up food for their families that they had to go. They were looking at this food on the ground that they desperately needed. It's just so barbaric. Like, this is genuinely barbaric. Yeah, I know you did. But this is just utterly barbaric. Like, you are participating in the starvation and denying these people by working for this aid organisation. You are then shoving them when they try and come and get aid from you. It's just utterly despicable, you know. It's utterly despicable. Yeah. One of the guys who was first to fire a warning shot was also the first I saw make physical contact with a Palestinian. Someone was picking up supplies, and without missing a beat, the US contractor pushed them to the ground. It's just sadistic, isn't it? I was later told that the Israeli military needed to clear those people out because they were going to come through. They soon showed up with tanks as some sort of security presence, but we had pushed people out by then. This idea that the Israeli military isn't involved... The Israeli military created it. They're very much involved. They have offices in our compounds. We share radio... Ethan endorsed this. Ethan Klein posted about this. Like... And the funniest bit is, I won't be able to find it now. Within a couple of things, Ethan was like, yeah, actually, you know, I don't, you know, they can't even find an evidence of me supporting genocide. He literally posted an endorsement to get one over on Hassan. If you ever needed more evidence that for Ethan Klein, all this is a game about dunking on Hassan, and he doesn't give a fuck about Palestinians, he just doesn't want any heat, he doesn't care to learn, he doesn't care to reject Israel, he literally posted a positive endorsement of this fucking dogshit organisation. Because, by the way, I bet there's something else he posted today. Hold on, I bet you he's already posted it. Any money he's posted it. Hold on. Well, actually, not any money, because I don't know whether he has. It's quite a bold prediction. He will probably fucking post it, though. No, he didn't post it. I'm surprised. But there's another one today that it's like, oh, Hamas killed Palestinians who were working with the organisation. The claim is that they're members of Yasser Abu Shabab's gang. As I've said before, Israel has created... Oh, wow. So there's actually a major update. Israel has created a situation where gangs steal aid, and then Israel creates this organisation. Oh, okay. Right, this is not true. Oh wow, Sean Parnell said that apparently Michael Carilla is not going. So Eric Carilla is now apparently not expected to go to Israel. That's a pretty significant update. So interesting. We'll carry on with this, but who knows? I just thought I'd put that up. If you can think of a new Ethan pun, I'll send you £100. I mean, there's too many brilliant ones. Ethanic cleansing. Ethan Kahana, I guess, might be one. That's a new pun. Ethana Kahana. The Kaka Party. He's joining the Kaka Party. So there's your new pun. I want my millions now. I want you to update that to £1 million, please. I think you should all donate $1 million. Each of you. If each of you donated $1 million, we could buy so many ballistic missiles. We could at least buy a few, I guess. Ethan Decline is already one. Ethan KKK Klein from America KKKA. Ethan Yahoo. We've already had Ethan Yahoo, though. I was later told that the Israeli military needed to... So where was he saying this? Sure, they're not on site, but their snipers and tanks are just hundreds of meters away. You can hear them shooting all day. Like, just... God, imagine just being part of this. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure this guy really believed what he was saying. You think, like, maybe he was just too lazy to read anything. But, like, if I'm going to take a job, like a job like this, I might have, like, a little look at what's actually going on. Ku Klux Klan is very good, and I've never heard Ku Klux Klan before. That's very funny. I like that one. I'm a big fan of that. Actually, Ku Klux Klan. That's a brilliant one. How about his fashion designer Vivian West? Who came up with that? Who started calling Healer Vivian Westbank? Very. Did you just come up with that? Because if you did, that is gold. But yeah, the aftermath of the chaos was just remarkable. By the way, Chris, do you think that leftists should be unapologetically radical so as to shift the Overton window to the left? I think there's an element of appealing to people who are. I think there's an element of appealing to people who are not within your thing, but I also think you should never apologise or be apologetic when it comes to being against like racism and the state of Israel. You should be unequivocally against this shit, you know? And I think I made foolish mistakes with not being unequivocally. You cannot in any way say that Zionism is acceptable, that the state of Israel has a right to exist, any of this crap. Zionism is not acceptable. Zionism is a settler colonial project that went into historic Palestine, ethnically cleansed the indigenous people, set up a settler colonial state that had no space for the indigenous people, so don't offer any sympathy to like the Zionist project. Don't, you know, yeah. Someone said it's a leftovers classic, I think. What, calling her Vivian Westbank? I don't know. When I see Teddy Fresh, my poor name. Yeah, indeed. Treddy Flesh. But yeah, one episode sticks with me. We were monitoring an empty site all day, sometime after dark. Dozens of flatbed trucks finally arrived. The Israeli military soon radioed in that 200 to 300 civilians were a couple of kilometres, less than 2 miles north were approaching. We then observed an Israeli drone go out there. Shortly thereafter, that area started getting lit up with artillery. The generous interpretation? Maybe the Israelis were firing between our position and the people in order to keep them moving forward. I don't think that's the case. After all, tanks fire all day long near these aid sites. Snipers fire from what used to be a hospital. Fucking hell! Snipers firing from what used to be a hospital. God. Jesus Christ. Can we go through Israel's nuclear secrets? I mean, I don't think there's a big secret. Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel categorically has nuclear weapons, you know. Like, it's not a lie. It's not like a big secret. Israel has nuclear weapons. It's not hard to find out that they do. We know the Israeli military has been enforcing curfews in some parts of Gaza. I would not be surprised if the aid was delivered at night deliberately, given it would draw people out, at which point they could be fired on as combatants. God. It's such a sadistic interpretation, but I don't think it's like that outrageous. Like, Israeli soldiers, Israeli genocidal maniacs, they like killing innocent civilians, so it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all that this is completely plausible, that this could be happening. No politic here. No politic. People sometimes have to travel miles to get to aid sites, and that means through Israeli-controlled areas. Any excuse the military can come up with to say someone is a threat. There's not really any international media in these areas, and the West doesn't really want to believe the Palestinian media, so you get to this point where the truth itself is murky. All the while, all I've heard all day is Israeli tanks, machine guns, snipers, and bombs. But never any fire from the opposite direction. Initially, when we first started giving out aid, it was really heartening. I mean, I could cry. Palestinians were saying thank you and I love America. But that didn't last. Apparently the I love America shit was a bit like of a joke. I want to be clear, I went into this pretty open-minded. I don't have a side. I despise human suffering and I hate that it exists. I was just hoping to be careful, but I don't think we are. What we these American companies are contract personnel are doing is directly leading to more pain, suffering and death for the Palestinians of Gaza. I thought he was going to say I didn't have a side, but afterwards I'm planning on joining Hamas. Right, we'll carry on watching a bit of this and see what it's like.
category of hypocrisy. I've read so many tweets and statements by so-called humanitarians who claim to care about food and the humanitarian situation in Gaza. They are the same people who are now saying that this humanitarian effort by Israel isn't enough and that they don't support it. I wonder why they don't support it.
Hang on a second. I thought that this wasn't something. I thought that this wasn't something to do with Israel. I thought that this had nothing to do with the state of Israel. By the way, I thought that Israel didn't set this up, and now their weirdo spokesman just admit it.
And I think that they don't support it.
Yeah, also, by the way, yeah, you're right. It's not murky. Israel's doing genocide.
Because it's...
Like, it's not. It's Teddy Daesh. I like that a lot. Teddy Daesh. That's a good one.
Doesn't support the UNRWA mechanism that is in place, that keeps Hamas in place, and because it is perhaps the beginning of the end for Hamas. And a lot of people have a vested interest in Israel.
The beginning of the end for Hamas after you have killed well in excess of 60, 70,000 people, you know?
Not defeating its enemy.
Okay, Bassem Youssef, your response.
You guys are talking about these 2 ministers as if this is the exception. I mean, like, all of the Israeli cabinets have genocidal language. And Mr. Jonathan, an artist on the other side, he's like saying that they represent their constituents, which means the whole society, the whole community is genocidal. This is what they represent. And actually, like, I think like we're asking the wrong question. We should be asking, like, instead of what we do, we should start asking, why are we funding this? Why is my tax money, $30 billion to date, went to Israel to buy 2,000 pounds bombs and F-35s to dump Palestinians? Why is your tax money, Piers, is going to the British government to finance this? If Israel wants to defend itself, let it defend itself by itself, not with my money. And also, like, this is like a country it's bragging that this lobby is buying off politicians in America. AIPAC is bragging about 80% of Congress being paid by them. If one politician in the EU, in Britain, in America was paid with bribe by Russian money, oh my God, you're going to have 6-month wall-to-war coverage, foreign interference.
I mean, you know what? I don't actually really agree with this take, and I think people are pretty foolish. If you didn't know, the UAE tried to pay the David Cameron government to review the state, and they did it successfully, to declare the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. Like, they literally did this. The UAE influenced British politics, the Cameron government, to review the status of the Muslim Brotherhood as a terror organization because that's what they wanted. Like, it's not like some unbelievable thing that Western governments are interfered with and nothing is done about it.
Corruption, but with Israel, crickets, complete radio silence. And
Lamise, I know that's a joke, but the mods probably won't.
I brought this, by the way, many times, and it was just like you flow over it because this is the real question, right? Because you would spend 3 hours talking about if this is a proportionate response, but we'll not talk about 3 minutes. Why is my money? Why is hurricane relief funds in America are going to fund Israel? Also, like, I don't understand the relationship between America and Israel. It's like, it's the most effed up situation ever. We're like the world's most pathetic sugar daddy. We give them billions of dollars and they shit on us. Like Mr. Jonathan said, now we're ganging on them. We're not helpful. Dude, we gave you $30 billion to bomb children and it's not enough for you. Like, I mean, at least when you pay a dominatrix, you know that you're getting fucked. But this is just America having...
I like that. That was pretty funny.
Public humiliation king while getting fucked, and they call this foreign policy. They are arresting American students on American soils for protesting Israeli war crimes. What the hell, man? This is like your crack whore making you...
What do you mean rich Muslims are different? I mean, these people are just... There are constantly people interfering in our politics. Actually, Lamise, you can be a mod because you are one of the OG followers of this. Like, you have been in here for so long, and you were a moderator on...
Children for calling her what she is, a whore. This is what really boggles me in America. The right and the left, they fight each other tooth and nail over gun control, education, minorities' rights, healthcare, DEI. But when it comes to Israel, everybody competes to be Israel's favorite bitch. Republicans hate handouts unless it's for Israel. And Democrats, they love human rights unless it's for the Palestinians. I mean, this is a Delulu state. You guys are Delulu. You are Delulu. Like, I came here today to witness for myself how someone can lie so shamelessly. The guy is like a human pinball machine. Every question lies on him into Hamas. He's like a magic 8 ball with one answer. Hamas. Yani, at least flat earthers, they make things interesting. You guys are
I mean, he's doing pretty well at being funny. I'm not like Bassem Youssef's biggest lover, but like, this is pretty funny at least.
You are like the same thing. I left all of this. I left the media because of this. I come back. It's a freaking Groundhog Day. Every day, the same question, the same thing. Dude, nobody believes you. You are liars.
Okay.
Nobody believes you.
Okay. Let me just say, well, since you haven't been on media for a while, Bassem, you probably would have noticed that I've become quite unpopular actually with the pro-Israeli lobby because I've been increasingly critical of Netanyahu and his government and believe they have.
Because if you're not your doormat,
that's
if you're not
entirely accurate,
they will not do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but you know, that's just, you may have missed that. But Jonathan Conricus, your response to what Bassem Youssef said. Dry skin, deeper wrinkles, and crepiness are just a few of the visible signs.
God, he really wants to sell me this shit.
Well, I could choose to respond to many things. I could respond to your foul language. I could respond to how low you speak.
I could respond to your foul language.
I could respond to your nonsense rhetoric. And basically, I think it shows that you've been out of the business for a while because you're regurgitating a lot of stuff that's really old. I think you should
Regurgitating.
update your poison. You should get an updated version of the talking points against Israel. All of the things you said they're quite low level. They're not very impressive. I've heard it a million times, and it's quite childish. It's interesting for me to hear that from an Egyptian. Last time I checked, Egypt is the second largest beneficiary of American money. And if you reportedly really care about your tax money, then have you asked yourself why the US is providing so much money to Egypt and what the US gets in return?
This is a good question, but fuck Egypt. They're both part of the same thing. They're both fuck it. Can someone explain why is he's saying Hassan things with the voice of Tommy in it? Shut up. What was I gonna say? Oh shit! Now I've been distracted. Yeah, fuck Egypt. Like, who cares? They're dictators.
And what I would...
Yeah, Pearl Cut being upset over some swear words on a TV show is insane. On a YouTube show.
I'd like to know is why is the Arab Egyptian Republic refusing to receive refugees, their Arab Muslim brothers from Gaza, and why are they so inhumane and cruel and preventing poor Gazans from escaping a war zone? Last time I checked, the only war where civilians have been prevented from leaving, escaping, fleeing a battlefield is this war. I cannot remember, and maybe you as a comedian can think of another war where civilians were prevented from a neighboring...
It's a genocide because Israel wants to exterminate people. Like, that's it. You can only super chat on the computer, I'm afraid.
...hostile state to flee the war. I cannot remember any such thing. And I think that the country where you come from has a lot to answer from. I know that you're more confident in bashing Israel and talking conspiracy theories and AIPAC this and that and all of the other nonsense that you regurgitated. But let's talk about Egypt. Let's talk about their responsibility. Let's talk about US funds to Egypt. Let's talk about their cruelty. Let's talk about how they have prevented...
It's a US-backed dictatorship that collaborates with Israel. This is just slop. Like... It's slop for people who don't actually know anything. It's like, yep. Oh, God, the Egypt Arabs, they're so bad. Okay, you know what, then? I think you're actually right. Dismantle the Egyptian government.
Humanitarian access to Gaza. Let's talk about the fact that they have built the world's biggest wall that dwarfs the Chinese wall and all Israeli security walls between Gaza and Egypt. Why did they do that?
That's not true. That's bigger than... No way is it bigger than the fucking... There is absolutely, categorically, no way that it is bigger than the Great Wall of China, is there? Is that possible?
Muslim compassion, out of care for humanitarian rights of their Arab brothers? No, because they want the poor Gazans in, and because they know that programs like this one and other programs will support Hamas propaganda and will blame Israel for what's happening, when in fact, Gazans should have been evacuated out of Gaza in the second or third week of the war. We would have defeated Hamas quickly and with far fewer unnecessary non-combatant casualties.
Just to be clear, programs like this one, hosted by me, which is the point you're making, I think, I'm afraid, I take exception to a 3-month policy.
Yeah, I mean, Egypt border wall. It's 7 miles long. It's 7 miles long. The Great Wall of China is 2,500 kilometers long. Super chatting on mobile. Oh, nice. Thank you so much, Uaru. So you can super chat on mobile, ostensibly.
The starvation of a populace that's been relentlessly bombarded that includes so many children. That's my problem. And I think that the war aims, the stated war aims of Israel at the start of this, which was to eliminate Hamas and to get the hostages released.
I liked it when they were exterminating Palestinians, but they could hide behind the idea they were getting rid of Hamas. I like that because it was easier for me.
None of those things have happened. All that's happening is more and more civilians are getting killed in the process of going after the Hamas terrorists. And you've taken also, as a government, to starving already impoverished children. And I just find that unconscionable. As indeed, by the way, do two...
By the way, I will never ever let Piers Morgan get away with this. And you can watch my Douglas Murray video. His friend Douglas Murray literally said on the 14th of October... Wait, I'll see it... The Israelis will respond as they see fit. It isn't for non-Israelis. It isn't for non-Israelis to give them advice. Maybe Israel will cut off Gaza and starve Hamas out. Maybe they will have a full-scale military operation to rescue the Israeli captives. Or maybe they will finally put an end to this insoluble nightmare, raise Hamas to the ground, or clear all the Palestinians from that benighted strip. He literally endorsed everything. Everything. He laid out everything that Israel would say.
Former Israeli prime ministers.
Israel would do.
For saying that. And there was a very powerful piece by a Jewish writer, Thomas Friedman, in today's New York Times, saying Israelis, diaspora Jewry, and friends of Israel everywhere need to understand that the way Israel is fighting the war in Gaza today is laying the groundwork for a fundamental recasting of how Israel and Jews will be seen the world over. And he doesn't mean in a good way. He means in a very bad and serious and potentially dangerous way. So yeah, this program has evolved. It does stand for that. Well, I'm going to go to Bassem for his response. But since you brought that up about this program
Piers,
and what it
leveled
represents,
10 allegations against me,
that is
and
what
I don't get to respond.
Okay, well, I'm going to let Bassem respond. But that is my response to what you said. So Bassem.
So let's.
Well, I didn't finish making a coherent sentence. Okay, by all means.
I didn't interrupt.
Israel destroyed and closed the Rafah crossing. Yes. Israel's not allowing it to be open. Egypt just collaborates with them on it.
You asked me about Egypt, I'll answer you.
You didn't.
Egypt
and I appreciate
takes
that.
1/3 of the aid that Israel receives, while Egypt has 10 times the population. Egypt never received $30 billion to murder children and bomb hospitals. Egypt was never allowed to have the privilege of having more than 58 vetoes in the Security Council, right? And also, why doesn't Egypt take Palestinians? This is like someone going into Fifth Avenue, shooting someone in the face, and it's like, why do the neighbors don't bury the body? You're the guy doing the killing, not Egypt. So stop talking about Egypt. Anyway, and I would like to, like Johnson and his likes, to please stop Zionizing us. Stop Zionizing. Zionizing, it's a verb which means to gaslight someone with such shameless, narcissistic, psychopathic audacity that you deny reality to their faces while simultaneously playing the victim, engaging in endless circle debates that go nowhere, and displaying a complete loss of empathy and basic humanity, right? Remember, Piers, why the first video went viral? Because I called Israel a narcissistic, psychopathic behavior that fucks you over and then makes you think it's your fault. Because this is what Israel does. It didn't happen. And if it did, you're remembering it wrong. And if you're not, it's your fault because you're looking into my phone. Narcissists lived in their own made-up reality. They don't share your reality.
I mean, I actually think there's more to this than calling Israel a narcissist. I think that what it actually is Israel does indeed live in a made-up reality where they are just completely unwilling to confront that they have ever done anything wrong, that Palestinians have any reasonable justification for disdaining the state of Israel. It's ridiculous.
Live in their own custom-made universe where facts are negotiable and truth is whatever serves them in the moment. And when it comes back and when you corner them, they back through tantrums, accusation, Hamas, anti-Semitism, full victimhood mood. And it's pointless to debate with them, right? Because take him, for example, and the likes of him. You show them a video, it didn't happen. You show them UN reports, these are lies. You mention international law, it's complicated. You get testimonies on the ground from doctors and nurses at Hamas propaganda. Yeah, we saw it with our own eyes.
I think, again, here's the problem. Bassem is really touching on something here, which I've talked about. Facts, the biggest lie ever is facts don't care about your feelings. Facts only care about your feelings. This guy only accepts things that he wants to hear on the basis of his feelings. That's it. Like, you can just ignore everything else if they go against what you're feeling.
Semitic. Like, Israel is like Shaggy. We saw you on the hospital. It wasn't me. We saw you killed the children. It wasn't me. Dude, your war crimes are documented. Hamas propaganda. Also, it wasn't me. There is no point of debating gaslighters as we have 4K videos, satellite imagery, and your own soldiers posting on TikTok bragging about killing children. But of course, yeah, the entire planet is having a mass hallucination, right? This is like Israel has the same credibility as a Ponzi scheme, right? This is why I'll give you an example. How do you?
I did everything right, and they indicted me.
Lulu is Israel, right? Israel calls itself, I mean, he was in the IDF, and he tell you, the most moral army in the world. Also, they call themselves the most vegan army in the world. So Jonathan here is representing an organization that is both vegan and genocidal. Yani, we will not eat chicken, but inshallah, we will bomb a hospital and barbecue it. Do you see how fucked up is this? This is like calling Jeffrey Dahmer the most vegetarian serial killer in history. Right?
I like that. The most vegetarian serial killer in history. That's a good one. Sorry, I'm just changing the title for a second.
And one more thing. Does any army in the world call itself moral? This is another trait of narcissistic psychopathic behavior because they project to the world the exact opposite of who they are. If they lie, they brag about being honest. If they cheat, they brag about being faithful. And if they are cheap, they brag about being generous. And if they are criminal, genocidal, they write about being moral, the most moral.
Okay. I mean, look, I would take away from that something that you and I, Jonathan, have reached agreement about, which is it remains appalling to me that international media and journalists are not allowed into Gaza to examine the...
I feel like this is all Piers can say. Piers just says this over and over again. He just loves saying this. Like, what is this? Why does he love this so much?
Veracity of all these claims from an independent perspective, because that would go a long way to answering the complaint, which is completely valid by Bassem, that every time there is any kind of incident which reflects badly on Israel, the immediate response is to shed doubt over it ever happening, or to say it's Hamas propaganda, or whatever. And the reason for that is because the Israeli government knows that there are no independent journalists from outside allowed in to ascertain.
But also, it's not even just that. Like, it doesn't even matter. Even here, Piers is engaging in it. It doesn't matter if there's international journalists. It is because people like him have just cast doubt on the Palestinians ever being able to tell the truth.
The facts. And of course, nearly 200 Palestinian journalists have been killed by airstrikes. So there is an awful. On that, I know that Jonathan, you and I think agree about that, right? I think it would be in Israel's interest and the world's interest if they simply lifted the ban on journalists and allowed independent journalists to do their job and verify all these things that are happening. I mean, you agree, right? Tax day has passed, but for millions of Americans.
Oh God.
The next move, not the IRS.
Yeah, I remember having this conversation with you, and I think it was that little Canadian Jew, self-hating Jew, I forgot his name.
That's weird. I like, just listen. He said it with a hard J.
Name who repeated the same lies or the same story about media. And I remember telling you, Piers, that I will personally see you in the Gaza Strip. If you decide to come over, since you have been campaigning on this, and since I think that you have a point, I don't think that what you say is true, and I don't think that all of the
also just taking people in for literally just propaganda trips is insane.
Allegations that you make, some of them are directly unfounded. But
which ones out of interest? Which allegations are unfounded?
What you said in the beginning of 3 months, the last
3 month blockade, food and aid,
time to respond. 3 months of starvation. That is nonsense. That is absolute nonsense.
But you had a 3 month blockade, right? I mean, there was a 3 month. Well, hang on, Jonathan.
So let me explain. You asked, you did your monologue.
You say nonsense, but there was a 3. You don't keep talking.
And if you
there was a 3 month blockade of food and aid. You accept that?
Yeah, Piers. I listen. We both know that I cannot be in a shouting contest with your mic with this situation. So I'm not even going to try.
Of course you can. You can't just dispute there was a.
No, I'm not.
You have to agree there was a 3 month blockade.
I will tell you what there was. There was before that a ceasefire, which was violated by Hamas.
It's just not true. It's like I guess this is the problem with talking to any sort of like Zionist. It's just like this just isn't true.
Hamas refused to turn over hostages and to agree to the deal that was presented by the US with Egyptian and even Qatari support. Hamas refused to hand over those hostages and to continue the ceasefire. The ceasefire was ended and Israel returned to fighting. Now, during the ceasefire, Israel literally pumped the Gaza Strip with international aid, not because we...
But they refused the term of the ceasefire to allow housing and sheltering. When they claim, we brought in so much aid, they denied them housing and shelter, which they needed to live lives. Like, what is this dog shit, you know?
Very much wanted to do so because those were the conditions of the aid.
What happened when the ceasefire ended?
Administration.
What happened when the ceasefire ended?
When the ceasefire ended, Israel stopped allowing that because fighting continued.
And Israel killed 300 people.
Really
it was reported the next day, Israel killed 300 people.
But here is the really important part.
I don't expect even you to try and explain they were all terrorists, right? So they killed 300 people the next day, and the Israeli government launched a 3 month blockade of food and aid. These are simple facts.
And Israel did indeed stop providing aid to its enemy and to the population there. But it was not a tactic of starvation. Nobody
What else do you call it?
Like, the ICC, like, why are you even letting him talk? The ICC indicted him. You just say, no, this was a tactic of starvation. The ICC indicted the leaders. The ICJ spoke about the need for aid to flow in. But it's just like, you know, you can just say whatever. So wait, how many more minutes of this is there? Oh, God. You know what, guys? I think I'm going to have to call the stream here just because I kind of need to go. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a break for the next few days, the next few weeks. So I'm not going to be back live until next Friday. And then it'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll have 3 lives in a row. And then I'm going to be away for a bit. And then it'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the week after. Thank you all for the support thus far. I can't wait to get back to streaming. I just can't do anything. I can't do anything about this. So yeah, I'll see you all later. I'll see you guys later. I'm sorry. I just need to go. I hope you all have a lovely day. Thank you